I think branding gets a bad rap. I think a lot of people talk about it in the wrong way, and they talk about it in a limiting way. And I think actors resist it. And again, it goes back to me at 21. I can do anything.
How do professional actresses tackle the business and craft? Well, today we are highlighting some of these amazing professional actresses as they share with us what it takes to be successful in the business. If this is your first time here, my name is Lydia Nicole, and this is Acting Smarter Now.
Acting is a craft. In some circles, I think sometimes there's this idea that anybody can do it and it doesn't take anything to be an actor. Nothing could be further from the truth. When you are an actor and you know the commitment that it takes and how the bravery that it takes to choose this career, to decide to do this as a lifestyle. I've gotten to appreciate it even more so being in academia, to say it just has become so clear how much of a craft and how passionate and intelligent and brave actors are. So I guess I'm talking more about actors than I am about the craft of acting. But acting is a craft and it's a process, and you need to continue to develop those muscles when you do that work, and you need to protect it.
How do you protect it?
I stay away from negativity. I spend time with people who are creative and are doing interesting things and are in that space of creating and collaborating. So that's, I think, a very important, for me, important way of protecting not only what I do, but who I am.
When you allow yourself to be vulnerable and truthful to yourself, it's amazing what can change even within your art. That's why I love, there's a book by Susan Batson, the coach. Her book is called Truth. And what I love about that is she challenges you. She says every character has a need. Every character has a need, and of course, tragic flaw and all these things. But the need is so powerful to me because we have a need too. And if we haven't figured that out, again, it takes me back to Freddie Hendrix. If you don't love yourself, how can you love your art? How can you put love into your characters?
Read and read and read the script. Don't say the lines out loud till you have read those sides at least a dozen times. Because when you're reading, you are finding more and more possibilities for choices and maybe what that story is all about. There is no scene that you're going to audition for or that you're going to do that starts at the beginning and finishes at the end. Every scene starts in the middle and ends somewhere where it's going to go someplace else. The whole story does not happen in one scene. And I do my best to relax so that I'm present and I can react to the person, whatever they're bringing at me, and from wherever I've made my choices, so there isn't like a whole lot of mystery to acting at this point, okay? But I would say for young actors, you should know there's a lot of mystery to acting because the mystery is inside you and you need to keep discovering and uncovering and working out who you are and how you're going to fit into what you're doing. I still do that. It just is not as complicated as I used to make it when I was younger, but I think that's because I have a lot of life experience now.
You get in there. Yeah, you're nervous, you prepared, you practiced, you did your choices, but you get in there and everything just goes out the window. If you can just ground yourself after you say your name, hi, I'm Judy Kain, then just ground yourself. Put Lydia there before you speak. Just ground yourself, see her. You know how you talk to Lydia, right? And then whatever dialogue you have comes out. That to me is the most important moment, right before you speak.
If you're prepared when you walk in the room and you're not asking of them, but you're of service, which I love that you said that. If you're of service and you're not thinking about wowing them and you're not thinking about, of course we want the job, let's not kid ourselves. Right. But how do we get there? By preparing, by being the best we can and giving it. And if it's not the best for them, that's okay.
If you're a person who tends to get nervous easily, especially if you have a live audition, this is really great because once you get really clear on the story you want to tell, it keeps you focused. Something I tell my students is to help fight nervousness. I always say, and this came from me having a slew of bad auditions when I was new to the industry. Well, that's where it came from. And crying in my car after an audition on Olive Avenue. And I remember after one horrible audition that I just was not prepared for, honestly. I sat there and I said, no one, no thing, or no feeling will prevent me from telling my story. So when you have an audition, you have a story to tell. So no one, that means not the casting director or however their face looks, if you're intimidated, no one, no thing, nothing, and no feeling, meaning no feeling within you. Like, okay, if you're nervous or aka excited, you still have a job to do. You still have a story to tell. You're not going to leave this audition wishing you would have done X. You're going to give it your all and let nothing come between you and telling that story.
Some people work all the time.
Right.
I wasn't one of them. Between those times when I wasn't working, I said, okay, well, let me create my own and maybe somebody come and see me. I did my War Woman show because, you know, Lydia, creative people have to create. If we don't stay in a state of creativity, whether it's writing a poem or whatever, it turns on us. The gift turns on us.
Yes.
You know, we start developing all kinds of neuroses. You have to have that element of expression. You have to be able to express yourself. So that's the way I feel about it anyway. And so I knew I had to create my own and hope with the possibility of getting work. Yes. Somebody coming to see me and saying, oh, yeah, we ought to use her for something. We ought to use her for that.
Study and dissect the medium you want to dominate. And the medium is the film, TV, commercials, whatever that is. Study and dissect it like a student. And that's free. Or that's just the cost of your subscription to Netflix or Hulu, whoever it is. Maybe you have your, for Hulu, so that's your, however much Hulu wants to charge us at the time of this recording. And you go through, man, this month, I'm just going to study romantic comedies because I would love to start a romantic comedy. Okay, great. Study those. What do you see that's common? What do you see? Do you see people who look like you? How do they dress? How do they act? How do they talk? How do they walk? You know, how fast are they speaking? You know, and then maybe you can go to the library and find you a book of monologues or pull up, go online and see if you can find any scripts for romantic comedies and then record them at home. So there's so many things you can do just to test the muscle for yourself.
I think branding gets a bad rap. I think a lot of people talk about it in the wrong way and they talk about it in a limiting way. And I think actors resist it. And again, it goes back to me at 21. I can do anything, you know? And I think that's the big mistake is you're not defining who you are in the career that you want and leaving it up to the whim of the industry. So for me, first and foremost, it's branding because branding for me is not an armor that you have to put on. It's not trying to be something that you're not. It's peeling away, you know, the layers of you to allow people to see it, to allow people to see all the sides of you and really understanding the stories that you want to tell and that you tell better than anybody else. Like, what are those themes of stories that you're drawn to? Like, that's branding for me.
I play a lot of uptight people, a lot of uptight characters, and that's really not who I am, but I play it all day
and
long.
I was the drug addict, and I don't even do drugs.
Exactly.
And the hooker.
Yeah.
Who thought? But yeah, you can't, it's a job, and you have to respect how people see you, and if you don't like how they see you, then you have to change.
Yes, you do.
You have to
adjust your look.
You have to reinvent yourself in a way that when you go in, this is how I want them to see me, and so I am dressing this way. Yep. I cannot, I cannot expect you to see something in me that I don't see in myself.
Right.
I think that a lot of people, when we're young and we're working with people that are big, like they've got a lot of experience behind them, you know, you don't want to get taken by their intention and all of a sudden you're on their train. You actually have to know, like, this person's really strong. You know, it's like getting into a boxing ring. You're in that match. And I think young people need to know, like, don't let other actors sweep you away. Come in there strong with your intentions.
We can all learn things, right? And then you raise up, right? You go from here and you go to here, and then you raise up here, and then all that, you know, mindset shit kicks in again because you're at a different level, right? It manifests in a different way. Now you have to learn something new to get to this level, right? So we're constantly growing. It's not like, oh, I figured it all out now I'm just gonna go. It's like, you know, you're gonna grow, and then you're gonna hit a wall again because now we're at a different place.
You're responsible for taking care of work, right? You have to do your homework. You can't just show up and expect que te caiga del cielo somehow. You have to know how to study, how to like break down a script, how to get into a character, and take responsibility for your part of the process, right? We're not in control of how many auditions we get. We're not in control of other systemic issues that come into play. But what we do have control over is our part of the work, right? Coming prepared when you go to an audition, when you go to work, right? So then with that preparation, then when you arrive, then you can play freely.
You know, most of our generation, we come from theater. We come from discipline. Everybody wants to be an actor. Everybody thinks they're an actor. You know, everybody doesn't want to do the work that it takes. You know, we studied. I have experience and I have study behind me. And I'm grateful for that. It was a whole different ball game when we were coming up in terms of acting, you know, but everybody wants to be an actor now. Everybody thinks they are.
I make a really solid choice and I go in with that. I mean, I know what just happened. I know what's making me say this, the dialogue. I know how I feel. I know my point of view. I've made everything personal.
When I get a script, I visualize myself in the script, not at the audition, not taping in my office. No, I see if the script is set at the hospital and I'm a nurse, I sit down, I close my eyes, I chill out, maybe put some soft music on, and I see myself in the world that I'm about to audition for. Then the auditory. What does it sound like in the hospital, right? Like what's going on there? Do I hear phones ringing? Do I hear, doctors running down the hallway? Do I hear babies crying? I don't know. And kinesthetic, what does it feel like? Or how do I feel within myself? And so for me, it's takes me into the world. That way I can see how I fit into the world before I even do my audition.
I think I had a good foundation and I continued to study. It didn't end. It doesn't end.
Yes.
Even the other day I was like picking up Joanna Merlin's audition book and going, okay, how can I make this audition better? Like, how can I work this? What am I missing, in my auditioning? Because I think we go through roller coasters. When, there's something that's really connecting, you're connecting with material, you're doing the work. And then other times, I'm sitting there going, I don't want to do this. Like, I hate this. Why I have an audition? Like, I literally freak out. Oh my God, is that an audition?
You mean
my
it doesn't
God.
stop?
It doesn't stop. And then there's other times like, all right, I got an audition. I'm going to go. I'm going to be so brilliant,
One of the most important things that I feel that I've done is honor when I wanted something very bad and I didn't get it. A lot of people say, just get over it, let it go. It's not that easy. It was just an investment of your life. It's an investment of your time. It's an investment of your dreams. And when it doesn't materialize, it hurts. So I give myself a day or two to cry, to scream, to yell, and just let it out. But then I go to gratitude mode. Well, at least I got in. At least I have an agent. At least I have a manager. And I've always told my children, gratitude is latitude because it does bring you up. I do have a spiritual life that I invest in, and I love to dabble in different theologies, different religions, so I like to do that, or I like to go places. I do my own hair, I do my own nails, so I save money that way, I'm very fortunate to be married to someone who's very supportive and gives me my freedom. But you do need something beyond. You cannot make acting your religion. You cannot make it because of the instability, because the constant jobs that may or may not come. But the one thing is trust. Again, I'm going back to that word. Trust, because it's like an ocean. It'll go out and it'll come back in. It'll go out and it'll come back in. Hopefully it'll take you out there with it. But things don't last forever.
Self-care. That's something that I'm just learning to demonstrate or to execute for myself. Self-care. You have to, because we have to love ourselves, because there is a lot of rejection. There is a lot of competition. We have to love ourselves and love who we are. We have to take it. We have to find our spiritual foundation, whatever that is. God, source, Buddha, whatever it is, Jesus, whatever it is. Everybody got their thing. Everybody marches to a different drummer. So you got to go with what works for you. So I say, you got to have a strong spiritual base, something that keeps you grounded, something that keeps you loving yourself and not focusing on man. And like you said earlier, accepting what somebody else or somebody says something to you, for you to ingest that, for you to take that on. I was given the opportunity to express myself, so that in me expressing my gifts, that it will transform your life so you can continue to express yours in this lifetime. And that I want to do it always and be the best person that I'm capable of being, from a place of love and a place of kindness. I don't always succeed. And if I don't succeed, I apologize. I'm working through stuff too. It depends on, what day is, but I'm not a vicious person. I'm a loving person.
Just like with anything, any heartbreak we have in life, we may not understand it in the moment, but I trust that when whatever happens in my life, there's something that I always say, and it's that everything always works out for me. Everything always works out for me. So that does mean even when some things go left and I don't understand it, I don't have to, but I know that everything always works out for me. It's okay to not know. It's okay. And that's part of staying curious about life, and this, before maybe I thought I had it all figured out, and I don't. So I get to stay curious. And I think that's something we bring as actors. When we get a script, we're like, you only get 3 pages. You don't get backstory. You're like, okay, I'm making this up based on the couple of adjectives that they described her in this breakdown. And then you just get curious. I wonder why she's this way. I wonder why she's talking to this guy this way. I wonder why. And that's how I feel like I operate in my daily life. I don't know. I wonder why this is happening. I wonder why I feel this way. Let me think about it.
Our ego is what makes us the perfectionist, and I think all of us hold ourselves to like an ideal, right? We have an ideal, which is a should. I should be here. I should be here by now. I should be great. This should happen, and this it should. And should is bullshit, because it doesn't exist, because it's the future, and the future doesn't exist yet. So there you are, not present, And so that anytime you're shoulding yourself, which I did a whole show about shoulding, and you hold yourself to an ideal, you're not accepting what is. And you need to start accepting what is, and what is right now, right? Because what is actually good enough. What is actually the truth right now. So when you start to accept what is, which is, this is where I'm at right now, you can grow from there. You can grow from right now. You can't grow from an ideal or an idea of future that doesn't exist. And that should, and it's based on some shit you believed you got from a long time ago when you were this big. So when you acknowledge that's where that came from a long time ago, you can start loving yourself today from right now, and accepting where you're at right now. And that is you in reality, not in blah blah land, And so if you accept what is, you're loving yourself from where you are right now. You will not be in perfectionism. You will not give yourself a hard time. You will not be like, you will be able to grow from this space onward. And so, and all we are here for, every single one of us, is to grow, period. It's to grow and to learn every day of our lives. Nobody's done, my friend. Nobody's done.
Wasn't that fantastic? That is some excellent information. And I know it will help you as you pursue your career. Hey, if you loved what you heard, let me know in the comments what stood out for you. And while you're there, buy me a coffee. Don't go anywhere, because I got some more fantastic information to help you in your career coming up right now.